we were in Germany, as Sean said, an Irish company in Germany, and we were introduced to SkyDeck through our mentor actually in Ireland at the time, and it looked like an amazing opportunity. And 2 weeks later, I was here, and we were pitching, and a month later, we were properly here, and I have to say, you know, we didn't expect the pace, we didn't expect the environment, and it was way beyond our expectations, frankly. Everything just happens here, and a lot of the other founders say that. You're kind of like, you've got a lot of problems, right? You're trying to solve them all the time, but there's always somebody around here that's going to help you, or just walks in the door the next day and is that person, right? That happens a lot. And there's about 100 advisors here, is that right? Yeah, so all those problems that you might have, this is a great place to come and solve them. And the pace is fantastic. I've never been able to make connections that fast with people at the same time. So yeah, our decision to move here was, like, you know, without doubt, like the best decision we made since we started. It's really been a great experience. Do you have any questions?
Oh, they're muted.
We can unmute them. Yeah.
So let me stop.
But hey, well, actually, so I could ask a question on their behalf, because I'm also curious too, Mark. What would you say has been the biggest learning, or was the biggest unexpected?
Well, there's a lot of things, John, but I mean, I think the most expected was definitely the pace we were able to, like, solve problems at. I kind of said that already. I don't know if I'm answering your question. I mean, for sure, access to investors. I mean, I don't know where you guys are from, but I mean, we came from Europe, and I mean, the chances of raising funding here are like at least 10-fold higher, right? Straight away off the bat from doing whatever you're doing right now. But not just that, I think also we started to think a lot bigger about what we could do with the project when we came here. And there was teams here that kind of gave us that confidence to do it. So in Europe, we were kind of fostered to think, what's the cheapest, fastest way you can make money today that you can get the minimal amount of investment in to do the minimal step forward? Or what we're finding here is like, how far can you go with this, right? Yeah, let's definitely start making some money soon. But how big can you think about it? How big is the opportunity? How can you really monopolize what you're doing and really have an impact? And I definitely didn't feel that I could do that in Europe. And that was probably one of the biggest things since coming over, is that we feel that we can really turn this into a big company now. Whereas when we were in Europe, we were thinking about being a successful business.
Great.
That's a great answer. Love it.
And all you are able to unmute yourselves now. So if you have a question, go ahead and unmute yourself and ask.
Okay, nice to meet all of you. I'm Gianluca, 5-Hour Farm. I come from Europe as well. Often we say that I come from Italy, and we say that in Germany the situation is different. It's much more easier to find money, but it seems to be not that. I'm really interested in your program, mainly because I really appreciate the Sean speech about the fact that for a foreigner it's very difficult to come into an ecosystem, which has its own rules and also its own network. And it's very difficult for networking for a person that comes from a foreign state. Up to date, now I'm doing a postdoc in Princeton, so on the other coast in the United States. But I'm much more attractive from that coast because I visit the California ecosystem just in January, and I saw how it works there. The system very fast, very easy to connect. What we do is very similar. Okay, as another goal, but to building robotics. That's a company that I saw in your slide, but we do that for indoor farming, and means so they do for normal beaning, we do for cultivation. Sounds great having contact with this kind of companies, and everything is great. Okay, now we have to apply, do our best to obtain a possibility to come there, and That's all. We are more interested
Yeah.
in like having mentoring from point of view of starting and networking in the Silicon Valley in California, and that for us is the most important thing. Also, I have a low judgment advisor.
Well, you know what, that was a great pitch. I feel like you did a great job of explaining why what we do is so useful. In response to exactly what you're doing, I can tell you that there is a tremendous amount of interest, not just from investors, but also more importantly from corporates. So that's the other extremely exciting part of our ecosystem. Every major corporation on this planet, so not just in the US, but global companies have established corporate venture wings here who are trying to adapt innovation by tapping into the kind of companies that we can help bring out and foster. So for example, what you just described to me is exactly one of the pillars for Tyson Foods. So Tyson Foods, they are the world's largest producer of chicken, and and I believe they're also huge in grains in general. One of their key pillars is exactly that. They're trying to find technology and companies that would help them drive IoT in the farming ecosystem.
Is what we do.
So yeah. So that's, and I just had a conversation with Tyson Ventures last week. They'll be here in 2 weeks. So those are the connections that we're extremely excited to make. And I think we're in a very good position to do so.
Good. Now we just have to come there.
Yeah, let's do it.
It's all about hardware over here as well, right? I mean, this is the center for hardware, right?
Yeah, I see.
But the other co-founders tell me who are working in that space.
Great. Other questions? We were so.
Well, I will ask a question. So, Caroline, what would you say you're looking for from our founders, or from the companies that we ultimately take?
So a couple of general answers to that question. So we're looking for founders who have evidence of a successful business. So we want to hear your story about how your company will succeed. And that's depending on your industry. So we want a real succinct story about how you have acquired customers or users, how you plan to service them and grow that business. We are not so interested, and this is a general statement you'll hear from early stage investors, in you have a gigantic market, but we're interested in that you have a very sticky approach to a market of some interesting size. And then once you conquer that market, then you could go after the bigger markets. So really hone in on exactly what your product or service is, who your customer is, and how do you know who they are? How do you understand their pain? How do you know how to get to them? We want to hear that story. That's about your business. About you, I'm a founder myself. I've done startups, so is Chan. So we understand the grit, determination, and the hustle it takes to be a successful founder. You don't have to be a big, loud personality, but you better have the determination of a honey badger or some other animal that is representative of those who will not quit. And we like founders with a scientific method mindset. What that means is that you are agnostic as to your customer feedback. You're going to collect all that data and you're going to build the appropriate product. You're not going to market with a preconceived notion of what your customers are supposed to buy from you. You're going to figure it out, come hell or high water, and bring it to them. So that's a little bit of my take on what makes a successful company. How about you, John?
Well, I'm going to actually echo what Marcus just said. It's really size of market. You know, we like companies, even if the founders don't realize it when they're pitching us, we are thinking very hard about size of market, and we really are going for the moonshots, going for the home runs. So what Mark is doing is clearly can be applied to a number of different industries and use cases, and that's extremely exciting. When you have a large market, it gives you the opportunity to experiment. It gives, sorry about that. It gives you the opportunity to pivot, to experiment, and really find interesting use cases, even if the original one doesn't work. Hey, Mark, can you name drop some of the introductions that we've made for you, both on the customer side as well as on the investor side?
Yeah, I mean, you could probably get an introduction to any VC you want in the Valley, right? At the most senior level, right?
Yeah.
A lot of them. So you can.
But for you, can we talk about the ones that we've introduced you to? There's General Catalyst, right?
General Catalyst, Andreessen Horowitz are looking at our deck now. We got an intro to ex-IBM Watson's MD, or head of their venture fund, who set up his own one. Another guy through SkyDeck who sold his company for $22 billion to a big pharma. I mean, it just goes on. There's a lot of them. I can't even remember all the names.
And Khosla, yeah.
Sorry, Khosla Ventures and Biotech. Right. These are top guys. Yeah, I mean, it's without doubt pretty like amazing to be able to touch these people and talk to them and get their feedback. I mean, they're seeing all of the decks from every other startup, and they're able to give you a little feeling of where the sweet spot is as well. So just access to these people is really powerful. And of course, you get more of a choice, maybe who you want to work with. Like, you know, you really can look at it that way as well. You know, I would say we're getting in touch. The university here is phenomenal. Like, I mean, we need a lot of data science and AI expertise and biology as well. I mean, we couldn't really tap into that where we were in Europe, like particularly in the data and the AI side. But you've got the 5th best supercomputer in the world here. You've got a few of the top AI professors. You've got, I think, Google's highest intake for computer scientists is from Berkeley. I mean, without doubt, in the computer science and the data side, it's just phenomenal to be here. And it's right there. It's literally just there. And the way things are organized here, all these people are coming in to meet you all the time. So you're inside the uni, but you're connected to them directly as well. So you're meeting people so easily, almost randomly, just bumping into people all the time. So it's a great way to build your advisory team. It's a great way to get students, really, really high quality students on board who, you know, they work on the side or they work at the weekends, they work in the summertime. You can really build your team out from here. You know, from us, it's a biotech center as well. So, so we'd be able to use the direct and indirect networks through Berkeley, the alumni that went through Berkeley. All of these people are working around the area in the industry, so we can tap into the whole alumni network as well through this environment. So, you know, you can really just, like all of those things together, you can really just accelerate all the things you're trying to do already at home, but you definitely won't be able to tap into a market that's this big and this fast to talk to people. You know? Speed in the end.
Well, that's acceleration.
That's acceleration.
Yeah, that's what we're trying.
It's hard work, right? It's going to get really, really, really busy here, but you're going to love it. But it's going to be a lot busier than you might have thought walking in. But it's great. I mean, it's because everything is just connecting. So, you know, if you really want to accelerate, this is the place to go. And I think as well,
awesome, Mark.
Team here is really putting so much into it. Really, I mean, it's phenomenal. So, and everybody sees it. I highly recommend it.